Welcome to EPG Pathshala. Today we are going to discuss the position of women in Indus Valley civilization. As we know that Indus Valley civilization is our ancient civilization, which is the parallel with the uh, Mesopotamia and uh, Egyptians culture to the worldwide. So it was developed during 2550 BC. We all know that the civilization was very famous for its town planning, trade routes, and the craftsmanship. They used to prepare very well fashioned beads and the jewelries and the potteries. And we all know that the town planning of the civilization is very famous for its square pattern design, and afterwards it has a lot of material culture. But as we are going to discuss about the society, how the society was, and what was the position of women in the society, how they contribute in the society. So we have to see the material culture and of course the other resources. I want to explain that when we talk about Indus Valley civilization, we have to fully dependent on the archaeological remains, because the material remains what we dug from the excavations, where totally depends on it, because it is a protohistoric period which has the literary evidence. Like, they have their own script, but they don't know how to, but we don't know how to read it. Still the Indus script is not deciphered. So the exact position, the exact condition of the society, we don't know. We have to depend on the other sources. As per the excavated remains, we find lot of materials, like the figurines, especially the female figurines. We are finding from the very lot of sites of the Harappa and Mohenjo-daro. Few of them made of stone, very few, and one is very famous, that is dancing girl from Mohenjo-daro, and few are the terracotta figurines. Terracotta figurines are found in various numbers. So they are no doubt a topic of detailed discussion. They were made with handmade and decorated with the applique designs, and the other part of the body is made with the pinching technique. And the jewelries, especially the headdress and the necklace what they used to wear, were made with the applique design. And this is very significant that only the female figurines are found from these sites. Like, even in India, very few sites are there where we find the mother goddess. All the female figurines are known as the mother goddess, because it is said, it is the archaeologists and the scholars, they have a thought that they have a special position in the society, because they can create the birth, they can create a generation. Therefore they are worshipped as a mother goddess. And nowadays we worship like Durga, Kali and other goddesses, lots of there is a cult devoted on it, that is called Shakta cult, which is especially concerned with the worship of female figures or the goddesses. But the beginning of that worship is started from Indus Valley civilization. The roots are there inside it. So that civilization is now known as Ganga Hakra River Valley, because the bed of that river goes dried, and they shifted towards the east. So the civilization got died, but still lot of sites are there from we find the remains, material remains, which says lot of stories of the civilization. It is divided into three phases, that is early Harappa, mature Harappa, then late Harappa. So early Harappa also have evidences of mother goddess. There is a site in Baluchistan called Mehergarh. So we found the earliest first female figures during the pre-Harappa period goes to 5000 BC. Like this is the earliest date as the archaeologists suggest. So it is again very beautiful figure, beaded jewelries she is wearing, and it is again made with terracotta, handmade, and the eyes are made with the incised decorations. And now we discuss about the other female figurines, the adornment. In Harappan society, there is a prevalence of the female sex found in early figurines. The existence of female figurines along depicts the significance of women in the society, as it equates to the fact that they were not ignored. Furthermore, the manners in which these female figurines are adorned gives us insight to the elevated status women held in mature Harappan society. And lot of figurines are accepted as mother goddesses. Since mature Harappan figurines have humanistic traits, many are tricked to assume that these figurines represent human this time period. It is possible that these figurines represented divinity in the Indus Valley civilization. The analogies present between these figurines and the adornment seen in Hindu goddesses is too profound, specifically because Hinduism arose in this geographical area following this civilization. And then mature Harappan figures as depiction of high class women and goddesses. Many scholars agree that the female figurines from the mature Harappan period are either representation of high class religious women or as divinities. Unfortunately, the writing of the Indus Valley civilization is not been deciphered to give us insight as to which of these theories is correct. Using pure archaeological evidences, it is important to understand that both of these theories can be accepted, as the archaeological evidence shows a possible overlap. Figuring may have represented females in the current society. As time progressed into the mature Harappan, ornamentation increases with the rise of the civilization and possibly with the increase in heterogeneity, causing a creation of a high class with the excess of magic, power, or overall religious divinities. By the end of the mature Harappan period, where female figurines are distinctly adorned, this may present a rise in religious beliefs in a mother goddesses. Such beliefs may have influenced the development of Hinduism and its concepts of goddesses as well as. Therefore, in the mature period of the Indus Valley civilization, female figurines depicted the history of the era by documenting an increase in heterogeneity and religious belief through the adornment and overall representation of women. The dancing girl, which is found from the Mohenjo-daro, is a very famous figure made with bronze. Even we found lot of bronze objects from the civilization, but this one is the masterpiece of this era. British archaeologist Sir Mortimer Wheeler described the item as its favorite statue. She is about 15 years old, I should think, not more, but she stands there with bangles all the way up her arms and nothing else on. a girl perfectly, for the moment, perfectly confident of herself and the world. There is nothing like her, I think, in the world. So, these are the words said by the British archaeologist Sir Mortimer Wheeler. And one another archaeologist was there, Sir John Marshall. He described the figure as a young girl, her hand on her hip in a half impudent posture, and legs slightly forwarded as she beats time to the music with her legs and feet. The archaeologist Poshell said that the statue, we may not be certain that she was a dancer, but she was good as what she did and she knows it. The statue led to two important discoveries about the civilization. First, that they know the metal blending, casting, and other sophisticated methods of working on the ore. And secondly, that the entertainment, especially dance, was the part of the culture. Among the most reverting pieces of art from the Indus Valley civilization is the bronze figuring of a dancing girl. Dancing Girl of Mohenjo-daro is an artifact that echoes the architectural wonders of ancient deep buried long ago. The bronze statue is hardly 4 inches high, yet speaks ample of the superb craftsmanship and of the caster's skill. The statue is that of a young woman standing upright, with her head tilted back and her knee bent at an angle. The girl wore lot of jewelries without fear, which indicate fearless society. This also indicates the high value of society where no fear of thieves. We must understand the significance of the statue. It depicts a culture both distant and not so far, illustrating a moment away from the present day. The vivacity of the figuring since ages has drawn attention of the scholars. The dancing girl of Mohenjo-daro is without any clothes, while her left leg is slightly bent. It is her arm that delicately rests on her thigh. Her entire weight is there on her right leg, and the right arm is resting on her hip in an elegantly innocent gesture. Her elaborately coiled hairs, her bangles and necklace speaks of social life of India at that time. The figuring of the dancing girl Mohenjo-daro has changed the way of one looked at Indian art of antiquity. Women wear their long in a single braid or a complex hairstyle piled high with the help of tresses. People in the same place often had different hairstyle and clothes, which possibly indicates different ethnicity or status. Where the figure actually represents a dancing girl is a matter of some conjecture. Though certainly the restrained movement inherited in the pose, the provocative nature of the figure, and the numerous adornments indicates this profession. The advent of metal was a revolutionary event in the history of mankind. It was the metal that gives momentum to its socio-economic development. Metallurgy increased production, gave rise to several specialized craft, and also revealed some chemical and physical laws. Metallurgy must have played a prominent role in the advancement of the urbanization. This sculpture is the evidence that dance and music was very much a part of their life, which tells us that people of this period gave importance to recreational aspects of life. It also expresses the aesthetic beauty. It possibly does not require a scholar to praise the aesthetic beauty of this object, the mild curves, amulets, bangles, her hands on the hip speaks volume. It also shows the role of a woman in the society. It signifies that a woman was on par with man and confidence with which she carries on her activities. This is also significant because only one sculpture of this dancing girl is found from the excavation. None other than the figure of a man is found in such position. So it is easy to understand that only women contributed in dance and music, and the men has nothing to do with that trade. One more statue is found by Ernest Mackay during the excavation of 1930 and 31 from Mohenjo-daro, and the representation as well as quality of craftsmanship is inferior to that of first as well known dancing girl. But this is a figure of another dancing girl, that's why it is significant to mention here. The British archaeologist Mortimer Wheeler said about this girl that she is about 15-year-old. This should be noted that female statue has been found in dancing posture. It means it was performed by women and young girl, not by the men. This might be for the entertainment purposes. The bronze girl is made from lost wax technique and shows the expertise of the people in making bronze works during that time. The statue is displayed in National Museum of Pakistan. This is strange that we don't found the image of dancing mode in a large number. This also indicates that dancing performance of a woman or young girl was not a common practice during that time, or it may be possible that very few of women, there's some special women used to perform such practices like dancing or singing. The above discussion says that women possess an important position in the society during the Indus Valley civilization. This indicates that there should be availability of lot of images from the excavated sites, but the reality is something else. We don't find the many mother goddesses figurines. This is also noticeable that, as I told you in detail, the position of women in the society of Harappan culture. But as we know, the Harappan civilization was now, after the division of India and Pakistan, many more part is being transferred to Pakistan and Afghanistan. In India, we have very few the geographical locations are there in Punjab and Rajasthan and Haryana, and few sites in Gujarat. But as we concern about the availability of mother goddess, only one site is there, that is called Banavali in Haryana, that have the excavated findings of mother goddesses. No other sites of Indus Valley in India have the findings of these figurines. As the culture of India is that we used to worship goddesses, the female goddesses, but if we see the evidences in India, cultural sites of Indus Valley which is related in India, located in India, we don't find so much evidences. What was the reason behind that? We have to think on it. It may be possible that it may be traveled through trade from one place to another, or from northern eastern coast region to the western region, or something else. We have to find out the reason, what is the reason behind that. Or the parts in Pakistan and Afghanistan, we have lot of figurines from Harappa, Mohenjo-daro, Chandhududo and Ganheriwala. Lot of sites are there. even Mehergarh, the pre-Harappan level, we found mother goddesses are there, but in India we don't find. What is the reason behind that? We have to see it very deeply. This is a question for the archaeologist, so we have to think on it, and this the solution may help us to understand the more lights could thrown on the position of women in the 2050 BC in India. Thank you.